Hello, my name is Kimberly Berna, and I would like to introduce you to Kyungwae Sonyeosang, literally translated as Peaceful Statue of a Girl, a memorial in Seoul, South Korea. Commonly referred to as the Statue of Peace or Comfort Woman statue, the work was initially created to memorialize protests against Japan's treatment of comfort women. According to George Hicks, the term comfort women is a euphemism for the tens of thousands of Korean, Chinese, and Filipino women who were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese military over the course of World War II. The protests, led by surviving comfort women and their supporters, have taken place outside of the Japanese embassy in Seoul every Wednesday beginning January 8th in 1992. The protesters plan to commemorate demonstration number 1000 with a simple plaque, but revised their plan to include the statue after backlash from Japanese officials. The deceptively simple design of the figurative statue and its interactive symbolism have had a significant influence on the cause it represents. Rather than the originally planned memorial, artist Seokyeong and Yoon Kim's statue has become a form of protest art due to its iconography, controversial location, purpose, and international impact. The Statue of Peace is about 130 centimeters high, or 4 foot 4 inches. The statue features two unadorned, simple chairs. In one sits a life-size young girl, while the other is empty. The representational, naturalistic seated figure and two chairs are unpainted cast bronze, situated on a rectangular stone base with an inscribed memorial plaque dedicated to the protests. The composition is frontal, and the girl herself is approximately symmetrical. The entire statue forms an implied triangle, beginning at the left of the plaque and following an ascending slope to the top of the girl's head. Contour and cross-contour lines create the features and objects in the statue, and suggested and real textures give the hair and clothing depth. The girl appears to be a preteen or teenager, staring straight ahead with a stoic expression, clenched fists on her lap, and bare feet. She wears a traditional Korean outfit called a chimo jogori, and a small stylized bird perches on her left shoulder. The overall composition is comparable to the Dogon primordial couple of Mali, Africa. Like the Statue of Peace, the wooden statue features seating for two. However, in the case of the primordial couple, both seats are already filled by front-facing male and female figures who are nearly symmetrical. The barefoot female figure, positioned similarly to the young girl in the Statue of Peace, has her hands on her lap and stares ahead with a neutral, somewhat somber expression. The female figure has also been sexualized and appears subservient to the male who claims her. The works contrast conceptually in that the Dogon primordial couple suggests an ideal union, whereas the Statue of Peace represents a corrupt, non-consensual coupling. The empty chair next to the girl allows viewers to interact with the piece, joining the girl and taking the perspective of comfort women. This unites the audience and the comfort women in their viewpoints, and similarly connects the experiences of comfort women to modern supporters. This interaction has developed bonds between supporters and victims, and many visitors give the girl flowers, scarves, gloves, hats, blankets, stuffed animals, and other gifts to show their support for the cause. The girl's short hair is representative of the way the Japanese military severed her ties to her family, friends, and culture by forcing her into prostitution. Historically in Korea, long hair represented an individual's connection to their ancestors and was a sign of familial loyalty. So until a couple of centuries ago, only disgraced criminals or otherwise disreputable people had short hair. Additionally, virginity until marriage is still highly valued by Korean society. The rape and prostitution of comfort women, especially in service of the nation's wartime enemy, essentially ostracizes the victim from their own culture. This idea is further perpetuated by the girl's bare heels, which, as described by James Griffiths and Han Sol, hover above the ground to symbolize her lack of stability and separation from society. The bird on her left shoulder represents peace and freedom, which the protesters seek to restore to the victims of wartime slavery. The artists explain that this connects the former comfort women who have returned to the sky, those who have already passed away, and the decreasing number of survivors who remain on the ground. The young girl casts a shadow reminiscent of an old woman, through which the artists intended to show the harsh life of comfort women, and the suffering victims still endure as a result of their past, as well as the ongoing lack of resolution or sufficient apology. While the works are aesthetically and stylistically very different, the motivations and symbolism in Liberty Leading the People by Eugène Delacroix are comparatively similar. Delacroix was inspired to create this work in 1830 as a reaction to a different political cause, in opposition to the restored rule of the Bourbon monarchy following the Revolution in France. Like the girl in the Statue of Peace, the focal figure of Liberty Leading the People An idealized female, symbolizing the concept of liberty, is not a specific individual but a symbol of the cause. While liberty is more abstract than the comfort women the statue represents, both works strive to change the political environment by inciting the public. Delacroix's work was so successful in inspiring upheaval that it was locked away by French officials fearing further revolts. The figure in the Statue of Peace is not as dynamic as the action shot of Liberty, holding her flag up high and marching forward, urging the French to take up arms against tyranny. Instead, the girl sits in a stationary, steadfast position that reflects the patience and nonviolent actions of the protesters. Like the comfort women, the young girl is ready to endure until she claims her justice. The artwork itself is not incendiary. Ostensibly, this is a statue of two chairs, one seating a young Korean girl with a bird on her shoulder. However, in its socio-political context, the statue is provocative and elicits strong emotional response. The statue is positioned directly across from the Japanese embassy in Seoul, so the young girl directly confronts the Japanese officials she seeks to influence. These officials have complained that Korean protesters are unfairly targeting Japan by only representing one perspective of the events. However, Korea is not immune to criticism regarding war crimes, and Korean activists, including Mr. and Mrs. Kim, have urged the Korean government to recognize these atrocities. For example, Seok-young and Im Sung-kim have also created a statue, Vietnam Pieta, to recognize the unconfirmed killing of Vietnamese citizens by Korean soldiers during World War II. This shows that the artists and other activists are not simply focusing on war crimes committed by the Japanese, but seek to recognize the larger issue of immoral practices during war. The statue has inspired dozens of other works around the world. Exact replicas, similar statues, and related monuments commemorating comfort women from Korea, China, and the Philippines have been erected throughout South Korea and in major international cities like Sydney, Nanjing, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and San Francisco. These artworks have become not just memorials, but protest artworks that criticize the way the Japanese government has treated and responded to victims. The widespread occurrences of government-sanctioned rape and forced prostitution by militaries and government agencies is a global concern. International works inspired by the Statue of Peace are just a small step in acknowledging these breaches of human rights. The strong public reactions these monuments evoke in viewers may transform these understated statues into powerful catalysts for recognition and change of the political atmosphere. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about comfort women and the Statue of Peace.